Hello, my name is Angus Wright, and I also go by Angus by design. And this is my story. Not just my personal story, but a story about what it means to live, create, and advocate in a world that's increasingly online, where our digital lives intertwine with our deepest human rights. My art, Angus by design, is my life's work. A performer's performance registered with the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. It's my journal, my broadcast, my way of documenting my lived experience in real time, pursuing truth, happiness, justice, and fairness. But what happens when the pursuit of truth and fairness collides with bad faith, harassment, and the abuse of power or privilege? I've learned often the hard way that navigating public social media accounts isn't just about sharing your voice. It's about understanding the rules, respecting boundaries, and knowing when to stand firm for your rights and the rights of others. When I first turned to public posting, it was out of necessity. I'd exhausted so many other channels, years of trying to resolve systemic discrimination and harassment with my former employer, OC Transpo, and my union, ATU Local 279, both of which I'm still a member and still an employee of. I'd communicated many times with individuals like this morning's run-in with Andre M. Prue, trying to get them to stop unwanted contact. When those private avenues failed, social media became my last resort for self-advocacy. But it's a wild west out there. You see, platforms like Facebook have rules. They're community standards. They're designed to keep us safe, to prevent bullying, harassment, and hate speech. I learned this firsthand when this morning Diversity in the Capital, connected to Andre M. Prue, responded to one of my posts with a simple yet incredibly hostile FU. That wasn't just rude. That was a violation of Facebook's rules against targeted cursing and degrading content. It's crucial to understand that these platforms are private companies. They set their own terms. And while our freedoms of expression is a fundamental right in Canada, it's not absolute. It's limited by laws like defamation and by the platform's own policies. So my first tip for anyone, especially marginalized artists like me, is know the rules of the road. Read the community standards. Understand what's allowed and what's not. Because if you don't, you risk your own voice being silenced, or worse, becoming part of the problem. And when you see something that clearly breaks these rules, report it. Don't engage in a shouting match. Document it, screenshot it, note the date and time, get the URL. Then use the platform's reporting tools. For that FU message, I reported it as harassment. It's not about revenge. It's about holding people accountable to the standards we all deserve, and then block them. Protect your peace. My art is deeply personal. It's autobiographical, exploring my journey as a non-binary, queer, disabled male artist, navigating mental health challenges like ADHD, BPD, and CPTSD. My art is my practice, and my practice is my art. So when someone infringes on it, they're not just stealing a product, they're undermining my very identity and my healing process. That's why I took a proactive step. I registered Angus by Design as a performer's performance and with the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. This isn't just a fancy title, it's a legal shield. It protects my ongoing, evolving artistic expression, the way I live and document my life as a continuous performance. So when I saw promotional material for Talent Tuesdays back in the day for T's Pub featuring Ms. Horizon, and it looked like my art concepts were being used and Andre M. Prue was involved, I put copyright with a WRIGHT watermark right on it. And I explicitly accused Andre of stealing more work to claim for himself, or place the pub in which we were both engaged with in a breach of copyright infringement. This wasn't a public, it wasn't just a public statement. It was a declaration of my legal rights. So here are some tips for other marginalized artists. Formalize your work. If your art is your livelihood, your identity, your healing, protect it. Look into copyright registration in your country. For me, registering Angus by Design as a performer's performance was key. Use clear notices. So watermarks, copyright symbols, and explicit statements on your work and website can deter infringement. Just like my statement on my social media was helpful in not only exposing bad faith interactions, but continuously self-advocating for it to stop, regardless of how many tries I have done in the past. Understanding the platform tools. So Facebook has tools like Rights Manager that can automatically detect unauthorized use of our content. So apply for them if we qualify. And use contracts. So for any collaboration or sponsorships, use clear, legally sound agreements. My templates for in-kind sponsorship and participation and participant collaboration agreements are actually designed to protect my intellectual property, ensure consent, and prioritize my well-being. They include clauses about non-solicitation and viewer discretion, making it clear that my art is not a call for work or payment, but an expression of lived experience. And my story isn't just about online comments. It's about a deeper, more insidious pattern of long-term harassment, social undermining, and abuse of status that has profoundly impacted my life. It's about how individuals leveraging their positions and connections can perpetrate harm. T's All Welcoming Pub, a place I sought for community and mental health support, it allegedly became a hub for this. I accused the owner of siding with abusers, users, and criminals, and allowing a toxic, gross social circle to undermine me. And then there's the abuse of status. Andre M. Prue, identified as a PSAC employee, a Public Service Alliance of Canada employee, is accused of stealing more work and being a con artist. And his connection to PSAC is a public service union adds a layer of concern about how professional affiliations can be leveraged. Even more disturbing is the alleged involvement of Francois Zaraga, also a PSAC member, whom I accuse of sexual assault on August 19, 2019, reported to the police in the pub's parking lot, and the alleged abuse of power by President Clint Crabtree, the president of my own local union, ATU 279, who I accuse of using his position to initiate criminal charges against me. leading to an arrest and a bench warrant. So this isn't just a personal dispute, it's a weaponization of the legal system, allegedly by those in positions of authority. My ex-husband, a former special constable, and his connections to law enforcement contributed to my 24-hour detention and mistreatment from my perspective. So, as the person who experienced it, who has those connections. So, that's why meticulously reporting is so vital. I've filed police reports detailing fraud, sexual assault, and intimidation, naming specific individuals and their alleged actions. I've sent formal notices of pending legal action to the pub owner. I've documented years of alleged discrimination based on my sexuality and disability by the City of Ottawa and OC Transpo, and the union's failure to represent me. This isn't just complaining. It's building a comprehensive record of human rights violations. So, tips for reporting influences on your life and community. So, document everything relentlessly. Every email, every message, every social media post, every interaction, date it, screenshot it, and save it. File formal reports. So police reports for criminal acts, human rights complaints for discrimination, union grievance for failures in representation. Seek legal counsel. So especially when dealing with serious allegations like assault, defamation, or abuse of power, a lawyer can help you navigate the complexities and ensure your actions are legally sound. And connect the dots. So see how seemingly isolated incidences are part of the larger pattern of harassment, social undermining, or abuse of status. At the heart of all of this, is our human rights. My experiences of discrimination based on my sexuality and disability, the alleged abuse of power by those in a position of trust. These are not just personal grievances, they are fundamental human rights issues. Every person deserves to live free from harassment, discrimination, and fear, whether online or offline. And this brings me to my final and perhaps most important point. It's critical that everyone says something when they see an exchange that's clearly in bad faith or which may be considered harassment. For bystanders, if you see someone being targeted, don't scroll past. Report the content. Offer support to the person being targeted. Your validation can combat the isolation and stigma that marginalized individuals often face. Your voice, combined with others, can create a powerful force for accountability. And for artists and individuals, understand that your voice has power, but also responsibility. Distinguish clearly between opinion and fact in your public statements. Be mindful of the impact of your words, but never let fear silence your truth, especially when you've exhausted all other avenues. My journey has been incredibly challenging, impacting my physical and mental health, my finances, and my personal life. But through it all, my art, Angus by Design, remains my anchor. It's a testament to resilience, a call for justice, and a reminder that even in the face of immense adversity, our voices matter. Let's work together to create online and offline communities where respect, integrity, and human rights are not just ideals, but lived realities. Thank you so much. Here are 5 tips to protecting your personal autonomy based on this topic. 1. Know and abide by platform rules and report violations. Understand the community standards of online platforms that you use, and if you encounter harassment or violations of these rules, report them immediately rather than engaging. So this helps maintain a safer online environment and prevents others from infringing on your digital peace. Formally protect your intellectual property. So if you create art, content, or any unique expression, consider registering it with the relevant intellectual property office in your country. Use clear notices like watermarks and copyright symbols, and explore platform tools designed to protect your content. This legally safeguards your work and identity. Document and report abuse of status and authority. Meticulously record all interactions, especially those involving alleged harassment, discrimination, or abuse of power by individuals in positions of authority. So, for example, our employers are union officials or law enforcement. File formal reports with police, human rights commissions, or union bodies as appropriate. And utilize legal contracts for collaborations. That's number 4. So when engaging in artistic collaborations, sponsorships, or any professional agreements, use clear and legally sound contracts. Ensure these agreements protect your intellectual property, establish consent, and outline terms that prioritize your well-being and autonomy. And 5, speak up and support others facing bad faith interactions. So do not be a bystander when you witness online or offline exchanges that are clearly in bad faith or constitute harassment. Report the content and offer support to the targeted individual. Your collective voice can create accountability and foster communities where human rights are respected. So here's the question of the day. In what ways can understanding and actively asserting our digital and intellectual property rights empower us to navigate online interactions and protect our personal autonomy more effectively? Feel free to share in the comments, reach out, or turn this into a topic of discussion in your community, and let me know how that goes. Thank you so much for tuning in and turning on. I'm Angus Wright. I also go by Angus by Design, and this is an example of what I do, which is essentially journaling out loud, sharing my experience because my experience is important. Thank you so much.